So I am recording. Introduce yourself, young man.
Oh, I gotta put on my earphones first. I want to get those. I don't have those linked in yet.
Okay, take your time.
Let me see. How you link in these earphones? Just cutting it off, cutting it back on. Hopefully that'll link it.
You make it. You got Bluetooth.
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you a little, but it's not on here.
You turn the volume up.
Yeah, the volume up. Oh, man. Reset default. I just like it sounding nice. If I got these on, it sound a lot better.
That's
Than
all
like
right.
that echo.
As long
Well,
as
let
you
me
can hear me,
try
we all
something
good.
else.
Because I can see you and I can hear you. So I want to go both ways. Would you do me a favor though, while you're getting that set up? Stand up a little bit so I can see that T-shirt that said that RM Motivation T-shirt.
Oh yeah, RI motivation. That's it. RI motivation.
All
You know
right.
the logo. I had these shirts. I said I had to get you one, man.
All right. So where can we get this merch at, man? Where can people get that merch? That RM
They
Motivation
just
merch.
gotta hit me up, man. I gotta order some. I gotta get some more shirts. They just gotta, inbox me. I tell people all the time, just inbox me if you want a shirt. Am I need to cut the light out. I'm gonna go
No,
without
you
it
good.
and just talk.
You good. From my point of view, you feel good. But you said inbox you. Inbox you where?
RI motivation on Facebook, Instagram, and people got my number. My number been all over 50 years.
All right. Before
Now it's a
I.
little different now. I got the business joint, but yeah, you can hit record when you want to.
All right.
Am I is it too bright? You want me to cut off the light or you good?
No, you're good. I tell you, you're good.
All right,
All
what's
right.
up?
So listen, I'm smiling because y'all don't see if you can see my big smile, my big cheesy smile. I'm
Yeah, I see.
smiling because I've been looking forward to doing this for a while, Reggie Miller. You know, I mean, every time I see you, I'm going, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, you going to chill with that mayor stuff, yo. I don't live, you know, right? So,
Yeah.
but I want you to introduce yourself. Tell people who you are, your government name, full government name. Give them a little bit about your background, and then explain what RM motivation is. So, first off, who are you?
Wow, I love that question. Who are you? I am a lost African stuck in this northern wilderness called America. Nah, that's the that's the one I give people. But nah, I am Reggie Miller, man, the son of Alan Betty Miller. I'm an Orange product. Grew up in Orange, raised in Orange. I'm always representing Orange to the fullest. I tell people, you cut me, I bleed Orange. Um, I'm the type of guy that, I mean, people look at me, I'm 6'5" stature. Yo, you play ball, whatever. It was so long ago, but I always lead with that. Most people lead with that. So, and I'm comfortable with that. And I'll give them my story briefly. And then it used to get on my nerves, always telling her I got hurt, I couldn't play at Rutgers, blah, blah, blah. But then it became almost like a calling card. You know, when you can't do something or tragedy for others, you know what I mean? People love a comeback story, things like that. So went to Rutgers, Orange, played ball, went to Rutgers to play ball, got hurt early.
I want
They
to interrupt you. You said play ball, and you sounded downplaying like, yeah, I was playing ball. But
Now I played
I'm gonna have
basketball
to ask you a direct question. Was you a basketball star, Reggie Miller?
in high school. I was a little something, little something. I was nice. I was nice. I'll say that. I got more love outside of New Jersey than in New Jersey. I know that.
Uh-huh.
You know, the ranking and all that stuff and the recruitment and all that stuff. So I had an abundance of potential because I was a 6'5" guard, and back in the 80s, that was new on the horizon, 6'5" guards and point guards and things like that. So
Big
I
guard.
wanted to shit right. I wanted to be a big guard. And thanks to my mentor, Ed Butler, who really was molding me into that. And he helped me out a lot, immensely, scholarship wise, in terms of ball training, the whole nine. Didn't get my work done. I was playing around socially. Wasn't a knucklehead. I didn't smoke, drink. I did all the other dumb stuff.
You
Um,
let me add that. I interrupt you. That means you like the ladies, and the ladies like
yeah,
Reggie.
that was the girl situation was a little out of hand. Just lazy. I would say I was more lazy than anything.
Well,
And
listen.
being popular, that's that popularity and stuff. It can be a curse. It can be a gift too.
Yeah, but it's also the charm and the charisma because I always call it, right?
Right.
My most favorite example of it is former Irvington Mayor Wayne Smith because it is it. Bill Clinton got it, right?
Right.
Whatever it
Met him
is.
before, yo. That's the only person I met in my life that I was almost like, and I met him probably around '07 at my Uncle
Mhm.
Jeff's school, the Harlem Children's Home. And Bill Clinton walked in. He had the Secret Service, everything. It was crazy. It's like about 20 years ago. So when he came in, I was like, whoa. Like he made me, and I done met Kareem, Jordan, like everybody. And I was like, cool, I want to, but with him, I didn't even know it was gonna catch me off guard. I was smitten, almost like, whoa. And he came and tapped my shoulder. He said, hey, how you doing? Like he introduced himself to me, which was kind of crazy. But he was a good dude. But one thing I noticed about him, not only the charm and charisma, but he could talk to anyone in the room,
Yep.
young, old, rich, poor, whatever. He had a way about, and I always remembered that. Wow, you should be able to connect with everybody.
Facts.
And I always lead with that, being able to connect with everybody.
All right. And so you mentioned high school basketball star. You want to make it underneath it, but you gotta, we talk about. It's funny that you mentioned it, but you kind of hit on it. Nowadays, a scholarship is kind of like a routine thing. But once upon a
Right.
time, getting a full ride to a 4-year college
It was
was a
major, right?
huge,
That
huge
was a big
deal.
deal.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't get it. This AAU stuff you got
Right.
now, all this other stuff you got
Yeah.
now, the NIL did
Yeah.
not exist. If you got a full ride 4 years, that meant somebody thought you
Yep.
was worth it, and you had to
Right.
climb right to earn it. So like I said, you downplaying it, but I ain't gonna downplay it, right? And you was that good in high school where you got a 4-year ride to Rutgers University, State University of New Jersey,
Right.
and then it didn't pan out. I mean, you said you looking back now, being you a knucklehead, but you got injured. Yes, you got hurt, right?
Right. I had a spinal condition called cervical stenosis,
Mm-hmm.
and I was paralyzed. Up at that point, it was my third time being paralyzed playing basketball. 7th grade, 11th grade, and a week before the season started, my freshman year. So I was, they was giving me love coming in. I had to sit out because my grades was messed up. So I was ready to. I stayed close to New Jersey. You know what I mean? I wanted to stay. I wanted Orange to come see me play, and I was on the trajectory. I always tell people my potential was going. It was soaring. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Things was where I was starting to really feel was happening here, and seeing all my peers who was starting to, climb and do their thing. I saw Mark, Mark Bryan at Seton Hall, and all my guys from the area, the Essex County area, Ala Abdul Nabi, young guy, a lot of guys was doing well who I played with all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just felt like, okay, it's my turn, and I wanted to stay local. And
Right.
when I got hurt, I was paralyzed from the neck down, cervical stenosis, and they call it temporary paralysis, which is like a few hours, but few hours seem like years
Ever.
because you don't know if you're gonna move again. And I
Mm-hmm.
was paralyzed from my neck down. Very, very scary. So the school was really gracious, man. My parents, my pops, the AD, the coach, we went to the best people on the spinal sports and spinal canal, Dr. Torg down at University of Penn. And we all went down, met with 7 doctors, and
Mm-hmm.
5 of them said no good. 2 of them said he should play, but the 5 outweighed the 2, and it was like, nope. And Rutgers they told my mother right then and there, they said, he stay here until he graduates. You don't have to pay for nothing. So that was a blessing. You
That
know,
that's also
that's
honorable. That's also a mark in Rutgers' favor, right? Because a lot of times,
right.
you can't play, get out.
Yeah, it's over. And I seen it. I seen my boys that play football and, because basketball, you don't get, you know, altering injuries too much. But in
Mm-hmm.
football, I seen dudes blow out their knee left and right at Rutgers, and they was there in May. They was gone. You ain't seen them. I was like, wow. So Rutgers really gave me my flowers. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm forever indebted. That's why I always, give Rutgers love where I'm at because they gave me a full ride, and I didn't even give them a layup because I got hurt right before the season started.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, so that was now the other thing with that was everybody felt sorry for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I was in a situation where everywhere I went, Reg, we heard all the hugs, everybody just felt terrible for me. And I was like in denial for a couple of years. I'm like, I'm gonna play again, I'm gonna play again.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I finally realized it was over, I was in the room by myself. Probably like a year and a half later, I was in the room by myself at college. I remember crying and feeling like, yo, I can't believe what I'm gonna do. And God led me to um, I didn't want to be a manager or coach. See, I didn't realize a trainer and them make a lot of money in basketball. I didn't want to get my boys towels and all that stuff. Like, nah, I ain't feel like coaching because I didn't want to be around. I love basketball, but I wasn't um, consumed with it. Like, it wasn't my whole life. I love the game. Don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. Okay, I can't play now. I got to be a coach. I tell people all the time, you find me any kid on the playground right now dribbling the ball saying, I can't wait to coach when I get older, I'll give you 100. Because most kids, most people, their goal is to play. If they can't
Yes.
play, I'm gonna get in. And so I wasn't sure what else I was gonna do. I was academically starting to really get into, wow, I gotta get work done. I gotta do things a little different.
Mm-hmm.
And it was cool. And I started working downtown New Brunswick in the projects at the Police Athletic League. And that was full circle, being around the police. My brother ended up being a police, you know what I mean? Working
Uh-huh.
with kids, and the kids gave me a lot of love. They gave me a big hug, and that was interesting because I felt the love from them. They like, yo, I'm like, yo, I ain't even play. I'm like, I ain't play for Rucker. They like, bro, stop playing. We heard you. We knew you was coming. We heard you got hurt. And they would just let me show them how to play a little bit, dunk a little bit. They would lose their mind. But I felt that those young men needed a guide, a reference, an uncle, a godfather, and I was that for them. Not even knowing I was young, and I was like, "Wow, these kids really love me." And I spent time there, and then fast forward, I graduated, came to Orange, subbing, doing life and health insurance,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find my way. My boys was agents. Thought about being a basketball agent, but that was so grifty. I'm like, yo, come on, man, that was so cutthroat. I didn't like I just didn't like it was false. You know what I mean?
The business part of it, it's
The
just business
business
money.
is so false. And I just got a pure intentions about me. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always been like that. So I said, nah, that ain't for me. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you remember Felipe Lopez,
Yep.
New York. He went to St. John's. But when he
Mm-hmm.
was in high school, I came out of college and I was around a few agents. I was around these dudes. And they gave me an assignment. This was the assignment. Reg, go to New York and you got to come Felipe Lopez's best friend. Right? Like, you got to go to the high school games. You got to go meet his mother. And I was just like, what are you talking about? And I just didn't, it wasn't clicking. I understood the monetary gain and all that stuff. Because if you get that one big player, everything trickles down.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But it felt phony to you.
it was all that was so foreign to me. And I was like, nah. So I was taught and told you should always work where you're appreciated and loved.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me. I'm loud enough. You good? I'm loud enough.
Yeah, yeah, you can. You can. I
Okay.
got you.
Just make sure I'm loud. And I said, let me come back to Orange because Orange felt bad. They was just, Reg, feel sorry. And I took advantage of it, you know what I mean, for a few years. I'm just like, yeah, couldn't play. And they had a program called Brotherhood, sort of what I was doing in New Brunswick, but in a classroom setting. I was working for Rutgers Medical School at the time. And it was it was almost like Mr. Bryant had a decision making class at the high school.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of juniors and seniors took that class, and for years he was this popular teacher that taught life skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't the X's and O's guy in school, but I knew if you put me in front of some kids, especially when I was subbing for a few years, I was a good storyteller. And I
Mm-hmm.
could talk to people and be honest and earnest about who I am and what my experience are, and don't go through what I went through. Because that's the era I grew up in. Yo, don't make the mistake I'm making. Like, I remember dudes to be smoking weed at the playground. Yo, Miller, if I catch you smoking weed, I'm gonna kick you. I'm like, yo, you smoking? You know, it was like, nah, you got potential. You going, so
Yeah, it
I
was.
always
Hey, yeah,
let,
I'm doing it, but don't be
yeah,
like me.
yeah. This
Yeah,
generation
that
don't have it.
and that I want to say that is, people say that is true, that this is different, but it really is. It wasn't, they always say misery love company, but no, it
Mhm.
wasn't really like that. There
You
was
ain't
cats
want the
going,
company. You too
yo, right, you got a chance, go be something.
go be something. And so it was almost like they was protecting me. So I said I had to do the right thing. So when I came back, hey, look, I got my paper out of it. And, I graduated. My mother was like, don't come home without your paper. So I finally did that. And then they had this program, Brotherhood, and I started working with that. And that was interesting because the young men, they needed that guidance. They needed that support. It was all males, a class with all males. I said, I don't want no girls. I don't want to, and they was like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
Miller's this guy. And I was like, all right, cool. Because I was already doing in the summer, the playground, I was coaching, little league basketball. They wanted me to be the head coach at Orange High. I just didn't want to be submerged with basketball because I knew once I became Orange High coach, I was going to run on that. You know what I mean? My boy Cleo is a great coach. We play high school ball, but he always knew he was going to be a coach because he loved the game, the X's and O's of the game. I love the game. I didn't want to be immersed in it. So when this program came about and it taught, they was like, Miller, he's the boy, here's the boy's goal. Like, create a curriculum. I'm like, all right. I'm like, let's talk about current events. And, we did our sports thing a little bit, but then I started really hitting them on it because I've always been pro-black, you could say. I've always been, I love my I didn't like to be slighted. When I was at Rutgers, I was in a couple of situations dealing with racism, and I'm glad I went through it. You know what I mean? Part of it was my fault, so I had to learn being around other cultures and other people. So if these kids in the inner city, because I always felt Orange, East Orange, Irvington, Newark is one big city, because we have the same popular, you know what I mean? So I wanted to just tap them on the shoulder like Mr. Bryant, giving you those jewels that's going to help you tomorrow. More because a lot of the guys, the things we talk about, the racism, the being a man, they understood it when they got older, a lot of guys. So a lot of guys, you getting in trouble with me, but now you're 20 years old, you seeing me, yo, Miller, you told me this was going, giving me the hug and telling me. Or I love the fact that I can meet a dude, have my class, and I barely recognize his face. He's 35 years old now. He at the mall with a family. And he like, yo, this is the guy Miller I was telling you about. That brings me joy, man. That brings me peace and happiness. And so I'm fulfilled with that. But through giving back and serving, but I seen my mother and father do it. So you creatures of habits. And I teach kids that. The reason why my brothers, we didn't, we ain't hit on no women or smoke with my brother. But we didn't it wasn't me. But we wasn't
bad people and doing bad stuff.
Yeah, we had values. Our parents took us to church every Sunday. Didn't even want to go, but I understood it when I got older, why it was important. I teach my kids having a spiritual base is important. You can't navigate through life on your own. You got to believe in a higher power, and faith is something you can't see. You just got to know somebody gonna be there to catch you, but you got to be willing to fall. You know what I mean? So.
All right. And you start talking about faith and God. Also mention your church, your pastor, because you are a deacon.
No.
Miller? You're not a deacon. You're not a deacon?
I'm not a deacon. Yeah, I do a lot of things in the church. I'm the president of the usher board. So I'm the dude that stand. I'm like my man in the Olympics that throw the arm up. I love that when I saw my man do it because I love standing and being at attention. And I've been doing that. As a matter of fact, my brother made me do it because he went to the Million Man March back in '95, the first one. And that was one of my biggest disappointments that I didn't go to the Million Man March. I was still finding my way, subbing. I made $75 and missed the march. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even worth. But my brother, who wasn't even, he was working. He was a conductor at transit, and he was cool. He's mature. He's 6 years older than me. He was like, "Yo, we going to the march. My job going. I want you to go." And I was like, "Nah." But when he came home, he was different. And that was like, whoa, yo, my brother different. Like he experienced something. He came home like, yo, I saw men hugging each other, crying that didn't know each other. He said he didn't smell no weed. He didn't see one argument, and it was a million black men together. That's powerful. That they were there because that was the most powerful one. Was the first one.
Yeah, and it breaks that stereotype that you can't get a group of black men together without something negative popping up, without a shooting or something happening.
It was a.
What's interesting?
It was needed. Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that because when I don't know if you noticed my facial expression when you said Million Man March, because the symbolic meaning of it I get, but I always thought it was a missed opportunity. I thought it was a great missed opportunity because I'm a nuts and bolts type dude, and I'm saying you got a million black dudes out there. They should have signed them all up for the Black Man Party. Should have been the BMP.
I got you. Yeah, saying because the voting, right?
Yes, and make a power block where you get them all together on that one thing, so that when you got something coming. You talk about a black agenda for the black community, the American black agenda. I'm talking about
You got
black people descended from the black Africans who was kidnapped, raped, robbed, tortured, and brought here against their will. Right?
We're the only group came here
against our will.
Everybody else came on their own. You know what I mean?
Feel me?
Right.
And so I
Now,
think
you
that's a
say
big
this
difference. But
too.
so I told when I hear Million Man March, that's what I think. But I'm glad you put it in a different, you said how your brother was and the positivity of it. Because like I said, I respect that. But like I said, I feel like, damn, we should.
No, let me tell you what happened though. I think the mission of that day was for them to go home, a change agent. You got to be that agent. So my brother came home and said, "Yo, man, we got to do something at church." I'm like, "What you mean?" Because we was just member. Yo, we gotta. I don't sing in the choir. I ain't ready to be a deacon. Yo, let me. All right, I'll be the usher boy. All right, cool. We gonna do that. But we took over that usher boy, the men, and that was, when people like we not only wasn't
What
ushering
church? You got to mention your church and your pastor. Mention your church and your pastor.
Zion Baptist, Avon Avenue, 17th Street in Newark.
Okay.
Right? So I grew up, and then because we grew up, we went to that church since because we moved to Orange in 70. But I was born in 67, so we went close to where we live. I would have went to West Side if we didn't. I lived on 18th Street, so 17th Street. So we was doing our thing, and my brother through. Not only did we usher in church, we did the bow ties. So people thought we were Muslims on the Ave because we was helping ladies cross the street when we was ushering. Like you saw, we was there. Like it just the presence of males, and he helped orchestrate that. And I seen the change in his life with his sons and everything. He started moving a little different. I was like, whoa. So by 05, I was there early. 2015, I'm bringing people with me to go. And they didn't have it in 25 because I know the minister's older or whatever. But I wish they would have just every 10 years do it regardless. Even if 50 Men Show, just keep doing the Million Man March every 10 years and make people leave with a mission.
See, that's what I was saying. You got to get organized and make like a rural university. You make like you said, every 10 years, like an anniversary or whatever. But no, you get a network, and then like you get a solid voting block. And we should have been the Black Man's Party, right? Because then they got to.
I like the Black, right. You can't fake that name. Yo.
Nah, you feel me? And then they got to come to you. We need 1 million votes. I got 1 million votes.
I got 1 million right here.
What you trying to get passed? I got 1 million votes right here. And then they got to give you something for it. Right. And so that's how I think of it.
Not give you something. They gotta give you what they say. Just do what you say you're gonna do. That's all it is. Yeah.
You feel me?
We're not asking you to do a whole lot.
Or else, me and my 1 million votes, we're gonna go against you next time. You feel me?
And you'd lose.
And so that's how I feel about it. But it ain't too over. That's why I keep trying to push you into politics. And you can tell everybody, I know you laugh, but I've been trying to push you into politics for years. All right? Tell them, say, Chris, I'm always talking to
my father did two things with me. My father, when I was doing the Brotherhood for a few years, and we had a family reunion, I think it was 07, somewhere around there. And we always had my uncle will come and speak, and he's nationally known, Jeff Canada, that ran the Harlem Children's Zone. Like he's the man in New York, right? So he would speak at the reunion. So we getting it together because my father was doing the reunion. My brother, we hosting it. Family coming from all over Florida, Detroit, all over. So my father, like out of nowhere, he was like, Reg, I want you to speak. I'm like, I don't, I do the thing in school, but I don't be speaking like that. And I grew up stuttering, Chris. Everybody that know me, bro, from elementary up to Rutgers, I used to stutter a lot.
Really?
I mean? As I got older, it slowed down. So especially speaking in front of people. Now I know how to monitor it or whatever. But I said, Dad, I don't know. I said, Dad, I'm grown. I'm like, yo, Dad, I ain't doing that. And then my father was on some grown man, like, yo, bro, I ain't actually, I'm telling you, like, you speaking. And then when I did the speech, it was the best speech I did. The first one, the biggest one was at the reunion. I had the whole, and I ain't, Marvin Sapp's song had just came out, Never Could Have Made It. So I remember I was using music within my speech. Marvin Gaye, this and that. I would talk and throw music in there, and that would give me a break to get my mind right. Play something for 30 seconds, then boom, come back and hit them. And it was like at the end, you throw on the Marvin Sapp, and I told all the young people in my family to get up and greet your elders, go hug them, and tell them you love them. The whole room crying. It was like an experience. It was deep, and I was like, I haven't felt that since I played. Making people, having that power over a room.
And have people, the human connection with people together. You saw it a little bit with the
Knicks. Sports do that because I was immersed in that. Cool.
Like the Knicks run to the championship.
Crazy, the whole city. The whole city.
Listen, man, I drove through New York a couple of times after
Oh,
that.
yeah.
People everywhere. And like I said,
Yeah.
aside from beating up the Spurs fans, no stabbings, no killings, no rapings,
Yeah.
none of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Besides the Spurs, right? Because the New Yorkers stuck together. So
Yeah.
now it wasn't no beefs with nobody. Everybody was like, you wore your orange and blue, you was accept. And my father was a Knicks fan. He waited, man. He left here 2020, but I wish he would have, you know what I mean? Because I remember when we was little going to a parade in Newark. They had from Walt Frazier and Willis Reed. They did a little something in Newark. I remember being little going to that. My father was trying to go back. Like he just never happened again. But yeah, man. So just having that feeling, and when I spoke, I kept somebody would add because during Brotherhood, teachers would leave Orange. They would go to Elizabeth. They would go to Linden, Trenton. Hey Miller, could you come speak at my school? And I just picked it
I
up.
want you. You reference it, but we haven't got specific with it. What is Brotherhood?
All right, the Brotherhood program is called a Male Student Support Program, and it was created through my man Matt Stevens. He was Scotty Dog, my boy Matt. He was doing it probably like 4 years before I got involved. It came in like '93 in Orange, and I was subbing. I heard kids talk about it or whatever, but somebody was leaving the program. He like, Miller, why don't you? Because I'm subbing. He like, why don't you come and do this? You ain't got a sub no more. I'm like, it was a salary and benefits. I'm like, all right, cool. I need to work. Let me do something. So I did it, and that's when it took hold of me, like the Police Athletic League did. It took hold of me when I knew that I could really help some people, and that's always been, I guess, part of my DNA to serve and pour in the people.
And what does Brotherhood do? What is it about? What are the age
Well, the
ranges?
class, if they came in like as opposed to taking art or music, it was like an elective class. So you went to see Mr. Miller, Brotherhood. So the guys would come in, and we would out certain subjects: sex, drugs, religion, anger, depression. And I was taking the model from what Mr. Bryant did at the high school with decision making for high schoolers. But now I got to dumb it down. I can't be as raw because they only in 7th, 8th grade for the most part.
Right.
So I said, all right, if I'm showing movies, like if you could show a movie, I can't do rated R or whatever, but I could bring in something that they can learn from. So in the '90s, I remember, and plus, I'm getting love because I'm already known within the city through sports and popular and all that stuff. Cool. And always, your name was important, Miller. You know what I mean? I'm Al Miller boy, even though my name Reg, but you wasn't saying for a minute. You was your mother, the kid. That's that go them Betty boys over there. So I grew up with that, and you didn't want to embarrass your family name. So I stayed on that and just trying to do the right thing. So through doing that class, and then the city it got rough with the gang thing by 2000, 2005, murders, the whole nine. And I was pushed into activism. So this is where the switch came for me. Okay, I'm doing Brotherhood, cool. But now, hold up. I had him in the 8th grade. 3 years later, he dead in Orange. Wait a minute. And nobody saying nothing, nobody doing nothing. So I'm like, all right, what we gonna do? So the boys, I would get a lot of ideas from my student. Hey, Mr. Miller, let's do a rally. Hey, Mr. Miller, let's do a caravan. Mr. Miller, let's go shut down Central Ave. Let's go to the. So I said, cool, meet me Saturday. Yo, y'all be here? Yo, let's do a cleanup project. So we would clean, we cleaned from White Castle all the way down to Scotland Road and back. You know what I mean? I had 3 groups. It was crazy, and I had pure knuckleheads, like dudes that was some bad. They was like, Miller, how did you get so and so to come out here? I'm like, I just asked them. But for a young man, they're yearning and looking for that male that they see and can trust. In the school system in America, 70%, you can look it up, 70% is run by middle class white women.
Yep.
So a lot of them don't see themselves. I'll call it the 280 West syndrome. They hate when I speak to teachers or whatever.
280 West is the highway that runs through Jersey, right?
280 West run them right back to the suburbs.
Right.
Home. It's not that far to go 280 East. We only got East Orange and Newark, and that's it. That's the inner city. But when you go out more, and I break down 280 when it was built, why it was built, the whole nine. Because 46 and Route 23, all that was a major highway. Nah, they had to build something to get people in and out quickly because the factories and all that stuff. So you break down all these things so kids know what's going on. But I talk to the teachers too, and the difference from the 70s and 80s. There was a lot of black males taught in Orange, East Orange, Irvington, and Newark. strong black males. I put emphasis on that. They're not in those positions no more. They're gone.
Yep.
So that second wave. Now, one thing I do say about I'm 59 years young. I always tell people the crew that turned their back on the hood is that 50 to 70 crew left. If you fit between 50 years old and 70, and you grew up in Orange, East Orange, Irvington, and Newark, and you doing well, 90% of you are bounce. You got the job, you left, yo, I hate you, I'm out of here, I'm out of here. Those knuckleheads from Orange, East Orange, Irvington, and Newark couldn't go nowhere. So they saturated where they were without. See, we had defense for us in the 70s and 60s. It was other men at the playground after school, other men coaching, other black men was doing the little league, this and that. Baseball was heavy. All that stuff was gone. And then I experienced white flight in Orange, in East Orange, where all the white people left. And I know it like a book from 75 to about 79. It was out. U-Hauls was coming every day, in the hood. And I was cool because when we first moved to Orange in 1970, it was an oasis. I'm like, wow, it's nice. You got white people. This is cool. Everybody getting along on the block. It wasn't a lot of race. I knew it was their attention, but it not, we lived behind a peppermint right there in Orange. So my street was quiet. It was cool. And that was like a lot of families and everybody knew everybody. So everybody taught and scolded and reared everybody too. Like, yo, even though your mother and father at work, yo, Miss Jones can tell you, yo, Rance, come here for a minute. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Them days gone. So it's going in the school and it's going on the block.
I'm glad you said that because that always got me because I was behind you coming up. But like I said, I came to Orange from, where you come from? East Orange? I think we came from Newark. To Orange. And like you said, it was not a come up, but it was a big difference.
Yeah, it was different.
And the thing that gets me is, like you said, you mentioned before, you talk about Orange, East Orange, Newark, whatever. I call that the greater Newark area. Right? Just like you have the greater New York area, but I think you're right. That community, even though they're different towns, it's kind of still the same thing.
Because everybody went, you didn't, like, redlining and all that with real estate, you couldn't go to Glen Ridge.
Yep.
You know a lot of people in Orange that had money and wanted them when they came from Newark, they had to go to Orange, East Orange, or Irvington.
Yep.
You wasn't going to Maplewood. You wasn't going. Montclair had a little pocket, but you wasn't going to West Orange like that. It took very few, but East Orange was open. Orange was open. So when we came up here, white people left and went because they started building Rockaway.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They started building all these, so they had to build 280. And the reason why they call it 280 because you're going to Route 80.
Yep.
So it's called 280, which was kind of playing a play on numbers, but
and for those that don't know, going up 80 is like going into the mountains, going away from the urban areas. I hear you saying heading out towards Patterson and Lodi and stuff like that.
Yeah. Let me give you a little history. It took 280 would have been built probably in this. It was, if you look at on the bridge, they tell you when they, the bridge tell you the date, 72, 71, 73. 280 first, and then we had Route 78 came after 280. So 78, a lot of those bridges got 73, 74, 75 on those bridges in Summit and stuff.
Yeah.
So over here, the reason why it took so long, they couldn't, when they was power blasting through that big mountain in West Orange, it took an extra 10 years to get through the mountain right there with the big mountain West Orange. They didn't realize it was going to be such a tough task. It was daunting. So it would have been done, let's say 62, but it took 10 years later. So 72 it was done.
To blast through the actual mountainside. It just lets you know how bad they wanted to get away, right?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, bro. We got to get look at it, when they built the pack, AJ Pack about 20 years ago. They built the pack 25 years ago. When they built it, they built the exit. So you could come on and off 280.
And you ain't never have to stop in Newark.
You ain't got to go around now.
Listen, man, it's funny. That's why we have, people don't want to talk about. They call it foundational blacks and FBAs, but you do kind of gotta delineate because the Black American experience is it's a funny kind of thing, and to really understand what the Black American experience is and has been, it shows you the depths and nuance. Whereas you get other, newcomers who got melanin and whatever, and they don't get it. They going,
they
oh, it's
don't
so
get
great. You going, it ain't always been
it.
great, baby.
Nah, it ain't always been like this. So I always and I tell people too, man, if you was another minority group, you come here, especially black, your parents got dropped off early, mine got dropped off late. That's why we was here, because we got dropped off late. That triangle too.
I agree with that, but by the same token, I still think it was a Caribbean, Jamaican, because the British and Jamaica is like they love it. Oh, it's a party time.
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that Haiti slavery was brutal under the French.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. American slavery was, I still think, different in many, many ways, on many levels. So you're right. We all, we all from West Africa got dropped off, but getting dropped off here was not a picnic. But I want to get down. I want to talk about the positive record. And so you mentioned you talked about everything. And so now you are retired, right? And you're doing RM motivation
transition. Retired transition.
And so with Brotherhood. So when did RM motivation start?
2017, believe it or not. I said, whoa, let me create LLC or something, because I was going out a lot, going to different schools and speaking at graduations here and there. I thought about, do I do this thing full scale? And, I was just helping people, call Reg when you ain't got a speaker type thing, you know what I mean? And then people was like, yo, Reg, you can make some money in this. And I remember I went to see Principal Kafele, Kafele.
I was thinking the same thing. Baruti Kafele.
Right. So he a dude too. I ain't at his level, but he was immersed in education, principal, all that stuff. Did a great job. And I remember he tapped me on the shoulder years ago. This had to be 12 years ago, because he would still teach me. He was just getting ready to leave. And I remember it was April, May, around there, because he was speaking at Seton Hall. So I was like, let me go see my man. So I go over to Seton Hall, and it was shocked that wasn't nobody there to hear him speak too much. About 15 people. I'm like, yo. So he said, let's not be in this lecture hall. Let's go to a classroom where it can be more personal. So we went to a classroom, and we was kind of mad. Like, if anybody should have been there, especially of color, it should have been the basketball girls team and boys team should have been there. You know what I mean? But we're leaving the speech, and we're going to the parking deck. And he was like, Miller, I don't want to leave school, but I have to. I love my kid. I love being a principal, but I'm forced to leave because it's so lucrative to go out and speak for an hour, as opposed to being at school for 9 hours, 10 hours. I'm like, you got to, like, it's almost a no-brainer. I get it. And he said, I made more money now in the first 3 months of the year than I did the whole year as a principal. And that was back, he's like, you can't. And I was like, wow, that's deep. Now you got a lot of people because everybody want to speak now, especially when social media blew up, and especially when everybody was at home with
during the pandemic.
Everybody feel they can talk, they can do this. I got something to say. Everybody wanted. That's why I haven't done a podcast like I probably could be doing. I haven't done it yet, and this and that.
Well, you have to add. You have to add. That's you have to add that to your repertoire, man. Like I said.
Right.
About it, right? And like you said it before. There's a book called Technopoly that the guy wrote. I got it in college. Best college class I ever took. And the guy, and the point is, in the information age, we saturated with information. You've got to be able to find the stuff that's meaningful and relevant and useful to you. And so everybody wants to, in this social media age, everybody wants to be out there and be like Andy Warhol, have your 15 minutes, but everybody ain't worth listening to. Some people are worth listening to. Some people got it. That it factor. They start talking and you go, oh, hey, he's saying some stuff. This is this.
Yep.
And I agree with you, because when you start talking about motivation speaker, we got the R motivation. I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting you to say Baruti Kafele, but I feel you, because the first time I saw Baruti Kafele, he was up. He would come around for free all the time. Yes, he was up in Patterson speaking to the city council in Patterson. And I sat there listening to him going, oh, snap. This dude right? This dude got it. Whatever it is, he got it. And he had a message, too, about education, about responsibility, about manhood, right? And and so to me, you mentioning him as part of like not a mentor, but somebody who
Right.
inspired you to do
When
what
I
you're
looked
doing
at you
now in
like,
our
whoa,
motivation.
inspired me. Yeah, no doubt.
Once again, that makes perfect sense to me too. That means you're smart, right? And
Yeah.
because he does have
Mm-hmm.
it, and you got it, and
Mm-hmm.
and when you get moved to share it and feel it, you got to do it. Plus, also the thing you talked about in terms of brotherhood. And I was having an argument with my little sister, not argument, because she was like, "Why black people always gotta send their kids and be hard on them?" Da, da, da. I said, "No,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's not just black people." I said, "It's rites of passage, and without rites
Gotta
of
go through
passage,
something. Gotta
these
go through.
dudes don't know how to become men, right?
That's
These,
it.
these little black dudes, they don't know, like you said, see a man in front of them, but they ain't been around them their whole life, as you have mentioned about your dad and your older brother. But
Mm-hmm.
how do you become a man if you don't know what a man looks like, sounds like, feels like, acts
Right.
like, or
We were
supposed to be?
saturated with black men in the
Right?
70s and 80s. Saturated. They was all over the place.
Yep.
Um, Police, the firemen, the teachers, like they was immersed in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was still going to the mosque, the church. Black men, they were leading. They were leading, and I'm not mad. They were doing their thing. By the 90s, a lot of that stuff started. They was ripped away. A lot of the black men. So now, when the black men getting ripped away, and that remember my generation, that 50 to 70 crew, we started, hey, I'm moving to South Jersey. I'm going to Atlanta. I'm going to LA. Everybody was leaving that were powerful. So it kept us kind of, weak. If you got weak individuals around, like our army got light. So who we gonna fight when we ain't got a lot of soldiers?
I like how you said our army got light. You're right. Cause listen, man, I'm not. I don't want to say it because when I say you're orange dude, so you know we hate East Orange, right? And
Yeah.
so,
I feel different. I mean, it's cool. It's cool
but I
because
want
we
to, I want
older
to get
now.
on,
But
I
I
want to
grew
get
up.
on you for that, yo, because you should
Yeah,
know better than being East Orange. I'm just
yeah,
kidding, but
yeah. A lot of people. Yeah, a lot
what
of
I
people
call
say,
them, what you saying about the getting light, I call it. I don't want. It's really I call it tack heads, but I'm really thinking
right
about
back in the
EO
day.
tack heads, just little tack head niggas, right? And they talk about right now. I'm gonna curse. They talk about fuck boys and they talk about this and this is
Mm.
this, but it's tack heads, right? We used to call them tack heads,
Yeah,
And,
Tackett. That
and
was.
what is a
And we
tack
had
head?
every decade had them. It was
Yeah,
dudes on every level.
what is a tack head, Reggie Miller? When I say tack head, what is a tack head?
Tackhead, my man, that 90% of the time he drinking, smoking weed, grades ain't good, know how to act but refuse to. Like
Yeah,
he ain't on medicine and all that stuff. Nobody was taking, 78. Well, nobody on no medicine. He was cool. Now, did he have a situation where he probably lived with mom Dukes only or his grandmother or something? More than likely.
yep,
Was he in a situation where he wasn't going uh, he ain't have a spiritual base? More than likely.
yep.
Because it's hard to rob and steal somebody and go to church on Sunday. Hard to do that.
Yes, and so in tack head, they just like you said,
Yeah.
they there. They ain't
But
about
now
nothing.
I'm gonna say this. This is the sad part about our neighborhood. We gave those the tackheads and the tackheads turned into the drug dealers for the most part,
Yep,
right? So once they became established and turned, they got tackhead mentality, but now they got money because they're
yep.
a drug dealer. So once they blew up, they became famous in the hood. So now you got the ball player and the drug dealer got all the love in the hood, which was sad, but that's who got those are the
I
popular
listen.
players.
See,
Right.
you hit a nerve. This is why I talk to you. You hit a nerve with me, right? Well, first,
Mhm.
after this, I want you to. I'm asking you what orange pride means because orange pride is the
I
opposite of
hold.
that
I ain't
tech
saying it
head
was
shit.
right, but those are the ones who led.
Oh
The,
no, 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 no. Listen, what I'm saying is,
yeah.
and I like her a lot, but she ain't elected no more, so I can talk trash. Even though she a country girl, she gonna know it, and she gonna tell me. But it's Tennessee Eason,
Oh, Missy.
former Norfolk Councilwoman
I
Tennessee
mean,
Eason
she
is
had it for a
born.
long time. She
And I'm
did a
listen,
lot.
I'm gonna call her out.
Yeah.
I love it. She a country girl. I love them country girls because to me, country girls is honest.
Right.
They ain't feeling you. They want to tell you, I ain't get out, get away.
Right.
They ain't
Right.
fake. Not like city girls are fake, but a country girl just keep it real with you. But you talk about the tack heads taking over, tack head takeover. I'm gonna use that, yo. Right? Is that they had Frank Lucas come to Orange to talk to
I
kids,
remember that.
and so you get there and go,
I was
who's
there.
more negative than Frank Lucas? Right? He's an American gangster.
Right.
And
We
he's
talk about
known
this a
for
lot. I remember. Yeah.
you feel me? But that's
He
his
can't
pure
hold up.
negative.
When that movie came out, when Denzel, that movie came out, 08, 07, somewhere around there, he was at the height. The movie premiered, let's say July 10th,
Mm-hmm,
right? It was in the fall. I remember when it premiered. Let's say October 12th, right?
mm-hmm.
He was at Orange High by October 17, 19, like a week later. The movie had just came out. He at the high school. I went to every playground in Orange. All the players, the drugs, the Bloods, whoever. Yo, fellas, y'all saw the movie? Yeah, Miller, the movie, Frank Luke. Yo, he coming to the high school. Why don't you come hear what he got to say as an old man and what he went through as an older man?
Right.
Out of all, let's say I talked to, I'm going to say 5 different groups. I went to I was talking to everybody in the hood, trying to get all the young guys that's on the block, come hear from the dude that you deem as the top guy. You know what I mean? You giving them love, right? The only crew came was that Central Playground crew came. And they listened, like, yo, Miller, we gonna come. And they came and listened to hear what he had to say. But I always felt like this. Who's worse on the neighborhood? The fiend, the drug addict, or the drug dealer? And I always taught my kids it was the dealer. So and that's the question I asked Frank Lucas. I said, Frank, look, I got one question. Who is worse? Who's the devil in the neighborhood? The drug dealer or the fiends that's walking around? He said, oh, that's easy, the dealer. If you take him out, you can't have fiend. If he's gone, if we don't have McDonald's, how could you be out of shape if you don't have fast food?
Right.
If we shut down Central Avenue right now and close every fast food joint, Orange and East Orange are going to be healthier. They're going to have to be, because it's hard to find things that's not there. Now you got to eat better.
See, all right. So you kind of redeeming that. You kind of redeeming the choice to bring him there, because, like you said, he's an older man now. He's been through life. Because
but his message. That's why his message was, don't do what I do. He came from that school.
All right.
So he's already popular. He was the man around the country. Denzel playing you, and the whole country is going crazy. He can come to Orange. We can't shut the door on that. Yo, let him come tell his story. And his thing was based around, yo, I was a menace. I ruined a lot of people's lives. That's what he was on.
Okay.
He was older. Right. He wasn't there. What you thought he was there talking about the Benz he had?
Well, no. I just questioned the choice of having him come in the first place. Because, like you said, you don't want to celebrate that type of stuff, and you don't want to do it. And, and I can get it. And I say it also, I feel it because, as once again, Black Americans, as opposed to other people, other groups that have melanin and come from other places, because sometimes, Robin Hood the outlaw, sometimes being the outlaw was all that we could do. We was allowed to do. You had to do that outlaw shit. Bumpy Johnson up in Harlem. You feel me? Right. You had to do that stuff because the legitimate. Well, not even that. You just couldn't. The red line and the blocking. You were just blocked from doing anything else.
Right. Stuff.
And so we do have that Robin Hood thing in us. Fuck the man. Fight the power. You sticking to the man. You getting over. You finessing. And so, because if the system's against you, then you can't be for the system. It makes sense. You feel me? And so that's on the one hand in our community, but it's like a dichotomy because, like you said, he was very successful doing his criminal stuff, but his success came at the expense of a lot of people's.
Oh, he killed a lot of families.
You feel me? And so to me, you don't want to celebrate that.
Yo, the Kennedys did the same thing. Their father was the top bootlegger in the country. So he ruined a lot of people's lives. That's why that Kennedy curse is somewhat real. What comes around goes around. Your father ruined all these families.
You talking about Joe Kennedy?
Yeah, the father. And
the bootlegger.
Yeah, the bootlegger. They became millionaires, all that. The Kennedys still get money on liquor that's imported in this country. They get like 20 cents or 25 cents a bottle, something crazy like that. So their money ain't going nowhere. But the tragedies in their family, it's hard to call it a coincidence. They go through a lot of
karma. You're making me smile. See, because Reg, and this is why I'm glad you exist too. Because a lot of times people think one dumb jock.
Right. I was that though. I was
no. But I'm saying they think that because you're Black and you play basketball, you must be stupid.
That's it.
Right? That's it. Or because you're Black, that's what the good thing about The Wire is that you show these Black dudes, they do crime, but they ain't stupid, right? And so, but the point I'm making is, I'm smiling because I went there with Frank Lucas, but then you flipped it back to it. Well, it ain't just Black people, as as an Irish guy who did it too. But the thing that the proof that you have that you segued and you flipped it that way without going there and being combative. You see a lot of this stuff on TV where cats got to make a point, and it's all messed up, but you didn't do that. You put a nice counterpoint, but it was all within it was all, you know, some Bill Clinton type stuff. It was all just in the natural flow of the conversation. You feel me?
Right.
To balance the perspective, right? And so you didn't get mad and go.
But I've been teaching like that 30 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Giving kids a perspective. I didn't come in going like this. Yo, you gotta. Nah, bro. I'll call it the you know, in basketball there's a play called the back door. Where you catching the defender off guard. You fake one way, go the other way. And he thinking you out by the 3-point line, but you're really going towards the basket for a layup. It's like a back door. I like to have a backdoor mentality when I'm teaching. Although I want you to come out here, but I really want you to get this information that's going to really help you. Like I want you to come up with the answer. Even though I'm leading you away, you're going to say, hold up, Mr. Miller, why would we, you know, not get, because you telling me, Mr. Miller, like the more education you get, the more options I have for work.
Yes.
Like, yeah. And the less education you get, no, I'll break it down to the young males. I'm like, do you want to marry somebody beautiful? And 9 times out of 10, the boys will say, yeah, I want my wife to be beautiful. Okay, cool. Or either beautiful to you, just striking. That's your Miss America. Cool. If you quit high school, your chances of marrying a Miss America go down to probably 4%. Because how can she be with somebody that's not educated? You probably won't have a good job. You know, it's hard. It's very difficult. So the more education you have, the more options you have to find that Miss America you're really looking for.
See, that's what. See, you making me smile. That is what's up, right? Because listen, it makes sense, and it's facts. But I call that sneak teaching. You call it backdoor. I call it sneak teaching. You learning some shit, but because if the kids knew that you was if they knew they was if they consciously knew they was learning something, they might resist it just on the But you know, here it is.
I had that. Oh, trust me, you're gonna have a devil's advocate in your class, and I'm not combative with the devil's advocate. Every year I got a kid. Hold up, Mr. Miller, what about? Oh, wait a minute, Mr. Miller, what about? And I'm like, all right, cool, I get you. And then my job is to teach and make sure he's listening. Because let's say you ask a question on Tuesday that's combative. Friday, I'm answering that question without you knowing it. And I'll say things like, Bobby, listen up to this. This is real important. I want you to get this. And then I start breaking down something to where he got to have a different perspective on things. You know what I mean? Because if he coming from his uncle is a blood, his father was a blood, and he 12, what you think he going to be? But I got to let him see, all right, we got to change our perspective on the way we do things. Even though our parents, I teach my kids, your parents are not geniuses. They're your parents. They smart. I remember when I realized, I thought my mother was the smartest lady in the world until we went to the mall one day. I'm probably like 12. I'm like, Ma, make a left. Because if you go straight, we're going to run into traffic. Oh, boy, shut up. I know what I'm doing. Boom, we run into traffic. And I'm sitting there like this. Like, yo, why wouldn't she listen to me? So, you know, we got to, but one thing I tell kids too, even if we helping our parents and they not listening, your parents are realizing, wow, my mother ain't going to tell me, but I'm sure she said, wow, he was right. You know what I mean? But she ain't going to tell you. So I teach kids, hey, listen, man, just keep dropping jewels on your parents so they'll know, like, if you don't have keys to your house and you 12 years old, you proving yourself unworthy.
Yep, I mean, they don't trust you to have
They don't trust you. That's something you have done. You have lost keys before. You left the stove on. You did something the way they can't trust you at 12, 13 years old.
Listen, man. And you know, it's funny because what you're saying is, and kids don't get it, because people are always telling you stuff without telling you stuff, right? And it's based on whatever. It's based on their interaction with you and these expectations of you. So I was talking to my little sister about my nephew. And I'm sitting there, she talking about him, describing him. I'm sitting there going,
this on you a little bit.
Well, no, I'm saying my impression of him is this, but you're telling me that my impression of him is wrong, right? And I'm sitting there going, because you know, you're the mom, they with you all the time, so you must see some stuff.
Well, the mother gonna play too much.
But you're 100% right. If it's something, if whatever you say that is this weakness, then and you've recognized it, you got to do something about that shit, right? Or to strengthen it up.
I want you, could we not curse as much? Because I want to play it.
You know,
and I don't put cursing on none of them. Yeah, I wanted to tell you that too, man. Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, because I want to put it up. You know what I mean?
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen, and I want to give you another personal thing. I tell you, I smile. That's why I'm always bothering you, as you know, because I brought my nephew, little almost on his way to being a tack head. And I remember I brought him to one of your sessions, and like you said, you've been doing this a long time, and you know it. And I brought him to talk you this, and he started opening his mouth, started talking. He's like, "Boy, just get in and sit down." And that's what he needed, because it was, you could see right off the bat he coming with the BS, right?
Man, but see, as a man, our radar for BS is up all the time. That's why when I got scolded from my father, he made sure I was quiet when I got a whooping. Yo, you say one more word, because he knew everything coming out of my mouth was a lie. My mother listening, so that's gonna make my whooping real short. Ma, I swear to God, the teacher don't like me. She not letting the teacher lying. It ain't me. And then your mother like getting soft hearted because she's listening. A man don't listen because he knows garbage. My father wasn't trying to hear it. So now, if boys don't have that man that's like, my man, shut up because you're lying, and they just got their mother who they got wrapped around the finger a little bit. Mothers don't even know it. For instance, I tell parents all the time, the cell phone thing is a big farce. That, oh, he's in the 6th grade, 7th grade now. In 4th grade, I'm buying him a phone so I can know where he's at. But in essence, he knows where you're at.
Yep.
So whatever he want to do, he know what time frame he got. A boy know if he get a 30-minute window and the house is clear and mommy not coming home, and he can call, because what women do, they leave and work, they call. I'm going to get some bread, they call him. Do you want McDonald's, they call him. So they're giving him play by play all the way home. All he needs is a 30-minute window to wild out.
Yep. Just not get caught. Give him time to not get caught.
Right.
But see, that's the smart ones. What I've noticed now is a lot of these cats, they want to get caught, because you be going, you don't have to get caught. What are you doing? And
right. They're real ignorant with it because they haven't been taught. So, or they so spoiled that getting caught is no consequences to it.
Yep.
You're not going outside for 2 weeks. You're staying in this house 2 weeks. 3 days later, girl, hold on. Boy, get out my face. Just go outside. Ma, you said I'm on punishment. Get out my house.
Yep.
A man not letting you get over on the punishment. Not my fault.
Yeah,
I remember the worst punishment I had, bro. I was on punishment during Halloween, bro. I had to stay in. All my boys came by ringing the bell. Miller, what you doing?
How old were you?
Probably around 11, yo. I was hurt.
That's back. That's back in the day when you. Back in the day when kids could go out on mischief night.
Bro.
That was a real punishment.
Bro, I was sick, like 78, 79. I was in like 5th grade or whatever. I was sick, but my mother wasn't coming off the punishment. Yo, you got to wear that. And you got to learn that, yo, this is my fault. You know what I mean? So it's always I think parents have a warped depiction of their kids. Yo, I know my son 100%. I know what my son does. If you get 50, that's a whole lot.
That's facts.
If you know 50% of your son, that's a whole lot. Most boys, tack heads, the mother know 20. It's 80% of him, she don't have a clue what he does or thinks.
Yep.
Or thinks.
Yep.
A woman, if a woman in a car and her son's 15 and they go into the store and some beautiful lady walk past the car, you think your son really not looking at that lady? That's what you think. Oh, my boy, he don't even think about girls right now. What?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Nah, listen, you are 100% right. It's some funny stuff, and that is really why. It's not a sexist thing. It's not whatever, but it really is a need. But I want to take this time, right? And I want to show.
I got a couple more minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to show people, because I know I've been talking stuff, and we talk about brotherhood, talk about what you do, but I want to show people what you do, right? And I want to show you. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show them something that you have been involved of. So where's my share? Where's my share? Hold on, that's not it. Oh, here's my share. All right, I'm going to share this flyer first, right? And this is one of the things that you do, right? It's National Gun Violence Awareness Day from Reggie Miller in front of Orange Preparatory Academy on June 2nd, 2017, 2:45 p.m. Wear orange, right? You just stand
17,
right?
Okay.
Now listen. Now look up. I mean, minimize that. Now let's look at why. This is the example of why I like this guy, Reggie Miller. Watch this.
Got the same thing. all the time to go online. Stop looking at television. Sometimes you want to go online, go on YouTube, not looking at the twerking and the fight. But sometimes you want to gain knowledge. And I just typed in gun awareness and that came up. I'm sitting there like, wow, I'm from Orange. The national color is orange. We have a gun problem in orange. So we got to do something. So I want to just say thank you. Give yourself a hand before we get started. Right quick, while we get started, brother, I'd like to just give a little touch of you while we here. All right, everybody, thank you for coming out, supporting gun awareness today. Now, who's that? The mayor?
That was the principal.
Oh, the principal of the school at the time. Okay, all right, got you. That was probably Mr. Belton, the one of the principals at the middle school. Hey man, thank you for that. You took me down memory lane. I love that. But I say the same, like my message hasn't changed.
Well, listen, I'll bring you back. Nah, with that,
my message haven't changed, yo. It's the same, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
that's that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was hurt when that girl, Swameh, that got killed in Chicago when they started this whole rally. And that's where it originated from. Swameh, she got killed in Chicago. She was dancing at the inauguration for Obama. He sent the school from Chicago, the dance crew from Chicago, and they took a bus, I think, to the inaugurate, and they danced. Let's say the inauguration was on a Monday, and they went back to Chicago, and she was coming from school like on a Thursday. It was a shootout, and she was across the street, and the bullet hit her and killed her. And she was only, so I may have had to be 14 maybe or something like that. Beautiful girl, and her mother and father was just like pouring their heart out. They were looking for the killer and all this stuff. But her girlfriend said, let's do something and create, you know how they was doing the breast cancer awareness. We need to do gun awareness. And the way they came up with the color, everything made sense. They said the hunters, when they go in the woods, they wear that fluorescent orange so they won't shoot each other. That's why we need to use orange as our color so we won't shoot each other in the city. First, they did buttons or whatever with the orange. And it just took off around the country, and then you see where it is now. So she died. That's a tough one. She died in vain, but sometimes you got to be a martyr. You know, that girl, for me, her family, mother and them don't know me from a can of paint, but I know every year I'm doing my part to say, yo, we got to stop this. We got to stop.
See, and that's why I like Mr. Motivation, aka
yeah.
I want to call you Mr. Motion, but you told me
Motion. Somebody take that different motion. Nah, I go motivate. Yeah, man. So I'm just like I lost my aunt a couple of months ago. My aunt Pat, man, who was near and dear to me, man. My mother died 3 years ago, and she was like took my mother's spot. Mm-hmm. So me and my aunt got very close in the past 4 or 5 years. We got extremely close. And like I said, I'm 59. So why am I learning stuff about my family, my mom's at 57, 50? I'm like, yo, it was crazy. So I'm still that dude that absorbed from the elders. Mm-hmm. You got to be a sponge with the elders because they're going to give you the stuff that you just don't know. That's what wisdom is. We got to learn from it. And we're going through so much in our lives, man. If people leaving here all the time, you know, my boy Kurt Holloway, I'm telling everybody, pray for him. He's battling cancer right now. Mr. Holloway that did the karate and stuff. But it was real simple, a gesture I did with my man. And any of my guys that go to the hospital and you're in the hospital with something serious or operation or you gravely ill. And if you play baseball, basketball, football, I'm bringing that with me. And I'm going to get a couple people to sign it or whatever just to make you feel like, yo, you still a star. You know what I mean? So I came in with the basketball with Kurt. Kurt, like, because everybody know him for karate, but people don't know his first love was basketball. You know, he went to Rutgers in New Brunswick, you know, behind me. He played on it. Back then they had JV teams in the top D1 programs. Like St. John's had a JV. Rutgers had a JV. Seton Hall had a JV team. And you would play teams like Rutgers, North Keene. Like you would play like a D3 schedule, something like that. So he played for at Rutgers, like, you know, and I remember that when I was little, and you know, I'm
Wow.
like, yo, that's where I'm going to school. So it was like little people around the way and things. So when I went to see him, I'm walking out, he's like, Miller, you ain't gonna take a picture of us? And I was like, all right, cool. And I don't like just putting up unless they say, man, I put it on my feed, 16,000 views from just.
Mm-hmm.
So I told Kurt, it ain't just the views, because I told people, yo, let's pray for my man. So now you got all these extra prayers around you. And prayer work. I always tell people that. Prayer work.
I
Somebody
see.
pray
Just
for
you. See, we with the all you know, we you got to go. I'm gonna have much time. We're gonna have as much time as we
me.
want. But that just means you got to come back on, Mr. Motivation, and just, give some more motivation. But before you
What
go,
we at now? 60? Where we at?
we are it's like 1 o'clock.
I mean, where we at in terms of time on? We've been on for
Oh
about.
no, listen, I told you, I want to go. I'm unlimited. You, Mr. Busy
All right.
Man, you
Yeah.
got things you got to do. Like I said it's 1 o'clock right now, so I don't want to keep you, and it's a Friday, so you probably got a full schedule. But I want you to, when I say Orange Pride, what
Mm,
does that mean to you?
wow. Um, I think of so many things and people. For one, Orange Pride to me, I just how orange is funny like that. It's funny how you ever heard the phrase "you tell God your plan," like you want to hear something funny, tell God your plans. Because
Uh-huh.
God got plans for you. You could do whatever. Like my plan, go to the NBA. God was laughing when I was in
Mm-hmm.
the eighth because he knew what I was going to be doing 30 years from that. Um, the worst building I was in growing up was Orange Middle. That was my worst time. I loved Lincoln Avenue, loved Orange High School. Da, 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 da. Hated that experience at Orange Middle. Why am I doing 30 years in there every day? You couldn't have told me that. You know what I mean? You couldn't have told me that. So I look at the pride factor and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Not too many men out there in the front line. I tell my kids all the time in class, if somebody come in this room with a gun, I have to die first.
Before you,
I can't be outside and interview. Yo, it was crazy. We all ran out. Like, yo, my man, it's kids in there and the gunman's still in there, and you came outside. That's why that dude in Florida, that cop got arrested after a few months when they did the investigation, because he was just school patrolman and he led the kids across the street when they had a shooting at a school. You can look it up. It's probably about 10 years ago, 8 years
mm-hmm.
ago. And he was a hero the first few days because he took like 30 kids across the street or whatever. But his job was to protect and serve. If a
Yep,
gunman is in the school, why are you outside?
yep,
Paying you to go in there and handle that. So I feel as a man, if somebody come in that class, kids know y'all get behind me. I'm willing to die for it.
yep.
So, and that's what a man. I tell my kids, when you're a real father, when he come home at night, he bring peace and order to his house. As soon as he hit the door, regardless of what day he having, when he walk in, the house go like this, yo, dad here, yo, chill. That's how it was. And it was was it fear a little bit? Fear got to be sprinkled in there, but the respect and love was always there. And the
Yes.
kids just realizing, I'm telling them, bro, you're gonna carry that mantle. So I'm looking at my Millers, my Troy Barneses, my Tims, guys that had my program back and they grown now. Jeter
Mm-hmm.
Guns with kids and all this stuff. They doing their thing. They got families and taking care of families. And they starting to Deshaun now doing the basketball tournaments and stuff. They call, yo, Miller, we need you. Nah, bro, it's somebody you got. Call my man. That's what he doing that. That's his lane now. People think I only coached really in the 90s at the playground. There's people still mad I didn't coach at Orange High. But
Well,
I
see,
didn't.
that's what I mean. I talk about it, and I mean, and that's like presence, because you're right. You said 6'5", but you seem like a 6'5" dude. I've seen tall dudes. You ask them how tall,
Mhm.
right? But they ain't got no presence about them, right?
Right.
And then, like I said, and you show up and you got presence. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then you talking enough and this, and that's part of it. It and having the presence and having and then also I'm a big thing on my pet peeve is bad leadership. I think we need more leadership. You talk about black men, but when I hear you, I'm hearing leadership. You need leadership
Right.
for these families, for these young black men, for the young black girls, for the black community, for the country, for all communities. You need leadership, and you need good leaders. And there's been I think we have been suffering from a lack of good leaders for a long time.
So we had a plethora of bad leaders, is what you're saying. They infiltrated us. And the reason why they got to infiltrate us because as the men from the 50s and 60s and 70s, we're not here to protect us from that. So these things are going to happen. The playground is going to get like that. The school system is going to be like that. Because you show me a bad school, they're in a bad neighborhood. A great school is probably in a great things going on around that school. The school is a reflection of the neighborhood, period.
Yep.
Ain't no ifs and buts about it.
And I want to smile. One last smile, and I'll let you go, right? You talk about orange and how you bleed orange. And I'm going to tell you something that pissed me off with the current mayor, Dwayne Warren, right? I'm calling him out, right? Because, and this is Central Playground. And
that's my backyard, too.
And they had their choice of colors to make the basketball court, and they chose blue. And I'm sitting there going, this should be orange.
Right. If you're going to go with the color. If you're going to go with the color.
Or it should be orange in there. There should be some orange around here someplace. And it still bothers me. Go ahead.
I think that could have been I don't know, my boy Marty, city planning, the whole nine, man. I still don't know what happened, who dropped it. It looked nice when it was done. And it need to be done now. You got to do those things every 5 years or whatever. You can't just do it every
for a color change then, huh?
Yeah, it's time for color change. Next time you got to go with the orange and see what happens there and see what that will do, because when they see it, that's why I always, if you from Orange, if I'm on social media and I tell you, hey man, put the fist signal up there, but I'm always putting an orange. We from the same town, we're connected to each other. I want to leave on two things. One, in terms of why I do what I do and loving Orange and having Orange pride. It was them guys ahead of me, man. The Mr. Summers and them, the Ed Butlers and them, the Miss Barlows, Monica's, Miss Hammond now, because she the old, I'm an OG, she a double OG now, Miss Pat Hammond. And I remember I used to get on her nerves, but I was young and ignorant then. So now I think back, I'm like, oh, she used to be mean to me. No, I was a clown. So she wasn't mean. I was a clown, and she was fixing me. You know what I mean? Like, yo, she wasn't having it. So I'm just doing my part because I'm 59. So the roller coaster my ride is coming to, it's slowing down. I already did the big hills. My roller coaster ride, I already did the wild stuff. So now you're trying to get into a nice lane to where I can leave. As long as I poured into you, now you got to pour into somebody else. And that's what the guys give me sometimes. They do give me that, which is cool. And then my man told me one time, he said, Reg, you got the uncanny ability to make people feel good. But everybody don't have that. Yeah. You can come in the room.
And you know what's funny? They say, and it reveals itself all over the place. Because he's talking now, you took us on some Lion King stuff, the circle of life. You got junkie jokes, but it's so smooth with it, right? Coming around a circle of life. Art and motivation. Mr. Motivation, Reggie Miller. That's what's up.
Like Monday, I'm already antsy because every time I speak, I get nervous. If it's 12-year-old kids or 30 doctors, they all the same to me. It's an audience, right? Mm-hmm. Monday, I got to speak at the thing with a rehab facility where they come in and they have group sessions and stuff. And they said, Miller, we want you to come and speak. I never used a drug in my life, but I know I can relate because I know people who went through that. Yeah. I seen this. I can't wait to go Monday and pour into them and just tell them, I had an uncle that had an issue his whole life, with drugs, man. So I know what it is, but I also know that they are special people. You know what I mean? Because the story's not over until it's over. You know what I mean? Story not over. That's why you going into the gym, bruh, you losing, you getting, your neck coming, you losing all that. You like, what did I tell you? Don't become a model and forget about it. But I want to thank you too for always encouraging, bruh. If you say Reg run for mayor, you know how encouraging that is to hear. Because I know you ain't telling everybody you see on the block, run for mayor, run for mayor, run for mayor. So by you even saying that, it keeps me positive and staying on my mission. Because if I can make you think that, yo, this guy could be a mayor of a town, I'm doing something right, and I need to keep doing it.
Yeah, because it's leadership, and that's what it is. And a lot of people think about leadership in the wrong kind of ways. You don't have to know how to do everything, and it's this. You got to know how to prioritize, inspire
Mhm.
people,
That's
and motivate people to
that's
do their jobs. You've been here
that's it.
20 years. Do your job, right?
Right, playing, you was playing, right, right,
You feel
right.
me? And so that's why it's Mr. Motivation, Mayor Motivation. I like that. Mayor Motivation. I like that.
Right,
See,
man. I
you
got
always come after this mayor stuff, but I warned you in advance. I told you I'm going to be talking this mayor stuff. And then but I love Ted. You and these thorns, I love Ted Green. The Green Dragon. He is the
and
man.
we had a conversation not long a little while ago about I said, how is the process of being a mayor? I'm thinking about, it's not totally off the shelf. I'm thinking about it, this and that. He said, bro, you'll be surprised the people that's going to help you compared to the people you feel that's going to help you.
Yeah.
Like if I ran for something, you thinking, yo, I know my cousins, my best friend, my this, my that. Nah, it's gonna be the people like a Sykes that say, Miller, you run, yo, what you need me to do? You know what I mean? Like, and that's gonna keep you
Because
motivated.
listen, man, and I give Ted props because I saw him as a councilman, and he'll tell you, I had other councilmen, and he was, and they all part Democrats and together, going, why you giving him so much time? Why you always talking about him? I'm going, because everywhere I go, I see this dude, right? I see him doing the
He
work.
wasn't faking. He wasn't faking.
Yeah, right. And so, but nah, he's right, and also he's a native son of East Orange. That's why you got to go back to Orange, my brother. But
Mm-hmm.
but it's yes, and Ted is the man. I like Ted a lot. Right?
Right.
I saw him knock a dude out, the Green Dragon.
Yeah. Right. He knew that. Yeah, he know the art. So
All right, but that dude, if you ever decide to get involved, because once again, and I always hit you up because we need more leaders in public positions. I mean, you're doing the good with the motivation and the brotherhood, and you're helping the youngsters and this. But also, I feel you do have the chops to do the other thing too. And lead and inspire people, because that's really what's missing with a lot of these cats. Just as I'm sure they got to be inspired. They got to be motivated.
You got to be motivated. Yep, to do what you do and to stay on course. You know
Facts.
what I mean? What's the heaviest thing in the gym when I go out and talk about this? What's the heaviest thing at Planet Fitness when we go there?
What's
You
the
know what we do?
heaviest thing in there?
Heaviest thing in there. Most people, they can't do it.
What?
The front door. They can't get through the door. If you get through the door, we good. You can't. Those people at home, they scared of that door, man. I'm telling you, they hate that door. And
Yeah.
spending $20 a month, $40 a month just to stay home. It's crazy.
Yes, and you got to actually get in there and go through that door.
You
That's levels, Reggie Miller. I mean, Mr. Motivation. Because listen, because what do they say? When opportunity knocks, open the door. When the door's up, step through the door. Again, the door could be there, but you don't step
Have
through.
you ever seen somebody walk in that door, look around, and say, I ain't working out today and leave? They do that at home. You're not going through the door doing it. Because when you go through the door, you already, in the military, say you got to make your bed every day, and that's part of accomplishment or something. You accomplish something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you get through that door, you already accomplished part of it. To me, that's half the battle walking in. The weights and stuff, that's going to be what it's going to be. But if you walk in there, you go.
See, that was so motivational just right there, man. That was good stuff. Because it really is. Because it's the first step, the journey of 1,000,000 miles. That's what the first step. And you got to do that one thing. And then also give yourself the thing I think that's important. And once again, is you don't say it, but the way you say it says it. You got to give yourself credit for coming through that door. And appreciate that you actually made it through that door. So that before you do anything else, you go, I got here. That's the door. I went through the door. I'm on the other side of that door.
I'm gonna give you this one. I got it, but just dealing with Planet Fitness because they know I've been coming. Remember, I told you I had this spinal surgery in 2012, a major surgery. So I had to wear the brace for 6 months. Driving a little bit with the brace, I got used to it. I wasn't supposed to. I would go to Planet and go sit and watch television for an hour with the brace on and leave. And everybody said, "Well, he crazy. Why would he come in? He can't work out. Why would he do?" That's part of my routine.
Facts.
I had to keep that going. If I leave for 6 months, I ain't going back.
Facts.
I ain't going back. But I had to go in there and smell, and that's how basketball was. When I come in the gym, the kids don't realize, bro, if you love that game, you going to smell that gym, the screeching of the sneakers, that do something to my vernacular. People don't realize, yo, bro, I did this. You know, and when you do 10,000 hours, you master something. I did 10,000 of that and still didn't even play in college. And I know I did 10,000 hours because we ain't have video games. We ain't have cell phone. I was at Central every day or Orange Park with Cleo. You know. Word up.
See? Yeah, that's why I'm so thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, you my guy.
I'm gonna try to blast this out everywhere I can go. I'm gonna chop this up into those tidbits and the whole nine because I'm gonna try to promote RM motivation. So before you go, really let people know where they can find you on social media, how they can reach out to you. Anybody who wants you to come through and talk to the kids with some motivation stuff, or
Reggie,
just come out and be positive.
On IG, I'm Reggie Miller Motivation. Facebook, Reggie Miller. You'll see me there on RM Motivation on Facebook and Reggie Miller on Facebook. I'm just, my Gmail is rmmotivation@gmail.com. I tell people to hit me, man. I got you. I'll be there. We can work something out. You know what I mean? Hey, I got it. I put you in my schedule. We work something out. You know, we make it happen. You know? Hey, man, I love you, brother.
And that is what's up. So, yes, I look forward to hearing more about you. And I know I'm going to see you at the gym, right? But I would like you to come back on because, I don't want to get you in trouble. We'll see how much trouble you get in being on this one with me. But,
no, I don't have no agenda. I ain't never robbed nobody, never made a lot of money. I'm rich inside.
Well, to see, but that's also why, to me, as Mr. Motivation, Mr. Mayor, I wanted to get you involved because that no agenda. You just want to help people. You want to make stuff better. You want to make your community better. You want to uplift people. You want to show people how to be successful. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to rob and steal and make myself rich. I'm here to make shit better. And if more people who wanted to do something to make everything better got involved in politics, it wouldn't have a bad name.
Right.
You feel me?
And I always tell people, bro, your word, your name, your reputation is important. So if I walk in the room and people smile, I'm doing something right. If you walk in and they come red, I ain't want to see because people get that sometimes when they go in places. I always get a smile and a hug, which is cool. And you see me in the jump, bro, I will go speak to somebody 15 or somebody 55 the same way. And that's how I treat everybody the same and give them love. I don't be sitting there saying, yo, why don't they come say hello to me? I don't give you
Well, you're making me smile again because I'm sitting there, as you were talking about that, I'm sitting there going, I'm having Scarface flashbacks going, all I got is my word and my balls. I don't break them for no one.
That's Scarface.
But I want to leave with one last thing. And I want to tell, once again, why I like Reggie Miller and who Reggie Miller is and how, and even your presence, even when you're not there. One time, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember, I had left my cell phone. I was in Newark at City National Bank using the ATM. Yeah. I left out and left my cell phone in there, and somebody took my cell, went back, the cell phone was gone, right? And I, with your Apple iPhone, you can find my iPhone. So I had the number. I called the number, and some kids had the phone, right? And I'm going, they're going, da, da, da. Oh yeah, give us a this, and we'll give you a phone. Right. And I remember you probably don't remember. But I
remember vaguely with a phone. I remember we had to go
get you on the phone with them cats, and they were talking smack, and he was like, "Yo, give me that phone." And he was like, "Yo, what's going on?" And to make a long story short, whatever Reggie Miller said to them cats gave me that phone back.
Yeah.
And they was down there in the projects back down in the Ironbound.
Yeah, you had to go get it. I remember. Yeah, you went to go get it.
And they were talking that yin yang, and you didn't know nothing from dirt. You was just like, yo, you got his phone. Get this. I'm sorry about that, but and you didn't use the N-word. But you mediated and solved the situation that you just stepped in with these kids, and they was youngsters too, who didn't know nothing from nobody. Didn't know them. Didn't know whatever. But that. And I saw that happen. It's like I saw Ted Green knock somebody out. I saw you step in.
For real? You saw Ted really go at somebody?
Yeah, he did. It was in a tournament. It was a charity tournament. He knocked the dude out.
Cool.
Bang, knock it out. I was like, whoa. Right? I'll never forget that. But I remember, you don't just, what I'm trying to say is you don't just talk that motivation talk and talk that orange prize talk, whatever. I've seen you walk it. And I've seen it in practice. And I've seen the power of it affect people that don't even know you.
That's it.
That's why you want to run for office, Mr. Mayor.
Got you, right, man. You'll be the first to know that part.
So go ahead and have a good weekend. I hope we get to do this again. But like I said, I'm gonna put this on blast this all around. And that's what's up. Thank you very, very much, Reggie Miller. You know, Mr. Motivation.
We'll do this. Got you, black man. Love
Got
you,
a
bro.
lot of motion too. I'm at the end of that.
All right, fam. Cool.
All right, no doubt. You can sign out. But then, now that he's gone, I'm going to go back into my share screen, right? I'm going to show you something else about him. One of the reasons why I like this dude, right? So I'm going to open it and share. And then what can I find? Yes, here it is. Will it play? Hope you can see it. Yeah, watch this.
Francisco. You've been here about 3 weeks, right? 1 week. Let's get back to the Ivory Coast, right? Ivory Coast, yeah, Ivory Coast. Straight out of Africa. You know, first I came to the movie. You get there, right? It's a generational thing, right? But all right, give me a second, man. Mr. Holmes here at Professional Special Services here in North Texas. All right, and so, Reggie Miller, what was going on today? We were just talking to the young man about this ideology I came up with about 7 years ago called Poor Health. You start lazy, you start lying, become limited your liability in society. So he's trying to talk. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's all mixed up. I use it in brotherhood, but I go back to speak different districts and stuff talking about it. Just trying to get brothers on the right path. All right, so I'm using brotherhood because they speak to you as well. It's not right. Girl. I mean, you know, talk about sisterhood, like brotherhood, really to the girl. Right. I guess. I think what was cool with talking to the women, they always hear from other women. So I wanted the young ladies to get a male perspective on like future, me and a woman. We went from hygiene to grades. We talked about lots of this. I think the male support program every day. Why was today different? Or what today different? Oh, the reason you got to get this locked together. If you find somebody now, I'm right here. I'll help you in a minute. What was different about today? I had all the sophomores in, and I wanted them to finish up for Market very strong. Because most kids are trying to go to school. They got to realize their freshman, sophomore grades are critical. And a lot of them dropped the ball, you know, in their sophomore year. And then by their junior, senior year, it was like, wow, 2 years ago I was wild. So I know that's how I was when I was at the high school and then graduated with a 2.0 because my freshman, sophomore year, I was just immature. All these years count. All these years got to count. But the freshman, sophomore year is some critical. You got to have it. There's especially timing about it. I mean, you were talking to sophomores today. The reason why I told I wanted to wait till we came back from vacation and I wanted to get them full market rate before I get home. I know in another week or two it's going to be 80 degrees. You're going to feel like doing homework, this and that. So I try to let them know I'm there for them. Let them know to try to finish them strong. It's critical right now, especially with the way society is going right now. As a male, you have to get all the education you can get. So I'm always promoting college. I always tell kids you have to go to college. I'm not the guy that said college not for everybody. College is for all, especially minority males, brothers up because all of them go, they all sharp. And also, we talk about that, but it's banner behind you with scholarship. So the day it was an event that hijacked me on my way to you, right? Which was they were in the auditorium, and I guess I want to celebrate them. I mean, so was it coincidence that you were talking to sophomores? It was just coincidence today because I used it all work. Even when we were speaking, I talked to them like, you know, once you blink in another 2 years, you'll be in the same position. And what you're going to be doing, you have a lot of seniors now that's going to school, but then you have a lot that's still unsure about their future. So what I want the Southwest to buckle down now, so you'll have everything in place by the time you're senior. And you'll have to be running around scrambling and nervous and unsure of what you want to do. You got to keep a good perspective and a balance on how to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to stop the share on that. As you can see, my camera work was a little suspect, not suspect. But what it is, you know, when you got your iPhone up and you record like this, you get the nice thing. But then when you do like this, nice one like this. And I wanted to get his full profile, right? I want him in the suit and the tie. And that's what I was talking before about presence and also about presentation, right? Because I'm not Mr. Suit and Tie. Never been. It ain't my thing, right? But he does. He's got a presence. Like I said, 6'5", ex-basketball star. was a basketball player. And he's talking positive stuff and presenting himself in a certain kind of way, because he's done things before with teaching young men how to dress and present themselves, write resumes, and go out and get jobs and stuff in life, and also young ladies too. But just good dude, and that's one of the things I wanted to do with this Eclipse Spotlight and this ES podcast. Spotlight good people doing good things, good dudes doing good stuff, right? And Reggie Miller is one of them. So I want to post this. Hope you guys will see it. Take a look at it. Hit me up. It's going to be on the what is it? Eclipse TV. It's 5. Eclipse TV 5. CB5. CB C5 Black 25 on Instagram or whatever, and Chris Black on YouTube. So we'll see what's really good. And once again, it's Orange Pride, right? Orange Pride. But then it's just regular pride too. But Orange Pride is about talking the talk and walking the walk, and being good dude all the time. And it ain't that hard to do, despite what people think and say. So that's what's up. All right. Bye.